All right, so in this section, we're going to start learning the basics on how to work with Spring Boot. So the first thing we're just going to do right here, we're going to move down to starter.spring.io to generate a brand new project. So right here, we're just going to go to the browser right here, and we're just going to say starter.spring.io right here, and just hit on enter. And here we've been redirected to the Spring Boot website where we're going to generate a brand new project. So right here, just as we've discussed in the past, we're just going to generate a brand new project. So here we can see that the Java language is selected by default, and Maven is selected by default. And the latest Spring Boot version is also selected by default right here. So we're just going to leave all these defaults to how they've been selected. And so right here, we're just going to change our group. So we're going to say com.dailycodework. And we'll just change this to com.dailycodework. And so here we're just going to say demo app. Maybe we're just going to say demo app. Yeah. So we're just going to call this one demo app. And I'm just going to say Spring Boot demo app. We're going to say XB, which is Spring Boot demo app. And then we're going to come down right here. So the description, we're just going to say a quick Spring Boot. This is Spring Boot. So I'm just going to say a quick Spring Boot crash course. And then I'm going to remove this hyphen from the main package right here. I'm going to remove the hyphen so it just comes together like this. And we're going to leave our packaging to jar just as it's been selected. And also we're going to leave this in Java 17 as it's been selected. So right here, we're going to need a few dependencies. So here, let's add dependency. So the dependency we're going to need right here, we're just going to need the web, this web starter right here. So this one is just the only dependency we need to start creating and working with the REST API in Spring Boot. So having gotten this, we're going to have another dependency called Lombok. Okay, let's have the Lombok right here. So this one is Lombok. And so these are just the two dependencies we need to have right here in this section. So I'm going to click on generate. So here I'm going to go back here and go back to record. So just pick any directory in your system to actually store your project. But I'm going to store this project right here. Not actually right here. I'm going to create a new folder right here, and I'm going to say Spring Boot. I'm just going to say SB project. So which means I'm just going to say Spring Boot project right here, and then I'm going to click on. I'm just going to choose this folder, and then I'm going to save. So now our project is being saved. So the next thing right here, we're just going to go here to this folder where we've saved the project that we're just going to open. And here, I'm just going to right click and extract this project right here. So right here, we see that this project has been extracted. So what we're just going to do right here, I'm going to right click on this project and I'm going to open with IntelliJ. So I'm just going to open folder as IntelliJ project right here. So let's click on this. And let's trust project. And right here, we see that our project is generating. So let's wait a moment. So I'm just going to remove all this for now. So we see that our project has finished creating. So let's go to our source and open our main right here. So this is our main class, which is our entry point right here, our main method. And so now I'm just going to, let's test run our project to make sure everything works to this point. So let's click on this and run. So let's run it. All right, so we see that our project has started running right here. And also our project is listening at port 8080 using Tomcat as a web server. So remember that we've didn't install any web server. So this server actually comes with the dependency that we included in our project, right? Which is the web starter dependency that we included. Okay, so let's go to the browser. So here we're going to say port localhost, and then we're just going to change this one to 8080 8080, and let's hit on enter. So we see that our project is actually listening on this port, and we have the white label error, which means our project is running. Just that we've not have any configuration, we've not have any controller, we've not had any URL in our project. But so far so good. We have generated a brand new project, and our project is actually listening on this port. See you in the next video. All right, so now we see that our project started running, and if we go to the browser, we see that our project is actually listening on port 8080. So right here, let's go back to our project. I'm just going to expand this in a moment. So now this is our project directory right here, and so here this is our POM file. So this POM file here is where all our dependencies are going to be stored in this project. So you can see that right here we have the group ID, which is daily code work. These are the information we put last time when we are generating this project from the Spring Boot website from springstarter.io. And so you see there's the version, there's the name of the project, and there's the name actually. So here we can actually change the name to anything right here. You can just change the name of this project to anything right here. And also we can actually change the description. Anything we want to do, we can change it right here. So when the project gets loaded, it's going to pick up the new changes. And here we can see that we're actually using the Spring Boot version 3.3.1 right here. And if you look right here, we're actually using the Spring Boot starter parent right here. So this one right here, remember last time that Spring Boot actually is a project on top of the Spring Framework. And so this Spring Boot starter parent right here actually consists of a lot of more dependencies right here. So if we click on it, we're going to see that we have, if we scroll down right here, we're going to see that we have other dependencies that are actually depending, that starter is actually depending on to work with, right? So if you scroll down, you're going to see dependencies and a lot of configurations that are being done. So by here, let me close all this again. So by here, by just having this one right here in our project, we actually have all those dependencies actually working in our project under the hood. So if we scroll down right here, we're going to see that the only dependencies we have right here in this project is this Spring Starter Web right here. And this was the dependency that brought in that Tomcat, that embedded web server that we're using to listen to our project on the browser. So if we just go here and click on this, so if we scroll down, we're going to see that we actually have other dependencies that dependency actually pull along. So right here we can see that we actually have the Tomcat starter right here, starter Tomcat, which is the web server that we are using by default in that project. And we also have starter.json right here. And also we see that we're actually using the Spring Framework 6 point something. And here we're using the Spring Web, which is from the Spring Core. So we're using this one right here from the Spring Core framework right here. And also we are using the Spring MVC right here. So now by just adding this dependency right here, we have all those dependencies that actually pull along. You understand? So that is the easier, that is the one of the benefits of using Spring Boot. Spring Boot actually make things easier for us, make our project easier for us to set up. So it actually comes with a lot of configuration, a lot of auto configuration. So as this project, when we run this project, so our project is going to be configured based on the dependencies we have in right here in our POM file. So this one is the Lombok, and is the Lombok library, the dependency that actually helps us, that we've been using all along. This one actually helps us to override, to get rid of boilerplate codes in our project. So it gives us free getter, setter, non-arg constructor, a lot of things it actually gives us. So this one, so these are the two things we just need right now in this section. And also this one is the starter test. If we want to run run test case, so this is the dependency that is responsible for it. And right here we have the Maven plugin right here. You can see this build section right here. Inside we have plugins. So this one is a plugin, it's a Maven plugin that we actually add right here. And also we have this project Lombok right here as now this exclude means this one right here actually is for development purpose right here. So it's not going to be included when the project is on production. Okay, so let's close up this one right here. And I'm just going to close this POM file for now. So now let's move down right here inside our source folder. So this is our source folder right here. And inside this source folder, we have some subfolders right here. So if we go to the main folder right here, we see that inside the main folder, we have two other subfolders. The package, right, actually, these are packages, right? So inside this Java directory, here, this is our main package right here, and this is our main application. So every subsequent packages we're going to be creating to write code are going to be created under this package right here, right? So we're going to see how this works in a moment. Then this one right here, this is our resource folder. So in here, inside this resource folder, we actually keep our resources here. You can see static, you can see template. So if we are working with any template and maybe any static folders like any like CSS, JavaScript, or those things like that, we just put them in here. And this folder here, this application.properties, is where we are going to configure all the settings of this project. This is the file that is going to hold them. So now this one is the text folder right here. So all the test cases, if we want to write test cases for our application, so this is the directory, this is the folder, this is the package. We just come right here to write our test cases right here. So having said that right now, I'm just going to, now remember that our project was actually listening on port 8080, right? If we go back to the browser, so we're going to see that our project is actually listening on port 8080. But what we could do right here in this file, this applications.properties, we can actually change the port that our project will be listening to right here. So for us to do that, I can just server. So you can see here, we just say server.port. They're just going to set the port. So let's go here. And now instead of 8080, I'm just going to set this port to 9192. So you can just set this port to anything you want to set it to. Now that I've set this port, now let's run our project again. So let's wait a moment while this project runs. So now this project has started right here. It has started. And if you look here, you see initially this Tomcat was initialized with port 8080, right? But now that we have changed the port, you can see that it's now initialized with the new port we've just entered inside this property file right here, right? Inside here. So this is the port we just entered right here. And now the application is actually listening on this port. And if you go down right here, you see that the application is listening on this port right here. So if we go back to the browser right now, if we refresh this page, we're going to see that we're not going to have anything because now this port has been changed. So we just want to come here to say 9192 and let's run again, and you see our project is back running again. So now that we have seen the basic directory of our project, I'm just going to clean this up. And so we have seen the basic working of our project. We have seen the uses of this file, and we have explored some basic directory in our project. So now I'm just going to close this one right here. And what I want to do right here now, we're going to come down here. We're going to come to the main package. So under Java, so we have the main package to our project right here. So I'm going to right click on this one right here. Then we're going to create a new package. So we're just going to go here. So we're going to say, so this new package we're going to create, we're going to call this one product. So I'm going to say product, and then we're going to enter right here. And now we have created our own package right here. So inside this package, I'm going to create a new class. So we're going to create our first class. And this class, we're just going to call it product, right? So let's just hit on enter. So now this is our product class. So this is our product entity class right here. And now what I mean by entity class is that, so we're not going into those right now, but meanwhile, so this is our project class, right? This is our project object right now. And now this object right here, inside this class, we're just going to say, okay, what do we actually need? What are the things that we need in our product? So we're going to declare something called variables right here. So we're going to have variables. So variables are the container that actually hold some different data in our application state, in our application, right? So now this product right here is going to have ID. So let's have private ID right here. And so we're going to say this ID is of type long, and we're going to say ID, and then we're going to terminate right here. So this one is going to serve as our product ID. So what else does our product need? Our product needs a name. So here we're going to have private string name right here. We're going to say string, and we're going to say name right here. And what else our project needs? Our project actually needs a price. So we're going to say private. So this one here, we're going to say, we're going to say, this one we're going to say double right here, because actually this one needs a price. So this price actually might be 5 point something, 2 point something, 3 point something. So because the price might be a floating number, so we're just going to make it as a double right here, so you can accommodate maybe $5.2, $3.5 right here. So that's why we're having the double. And now also our project is going to have description, right? So the product has an ID, has a name, has a price, and it's going to also have a description. So let's go ahead to say private. So this one is going to be string, and here we're going to say description right here. So these are the these are the four attributes we just want our product to have right now. And now what we want to do right here, so we just want to create, well, we want to follow the MVC pattern in creating this right here. So you can see right here, when we go back to our POM file, if we go back here to our POM file, we're actually having this web starter dependency right here. We're having this starter web dependency. And if you click on this, if you right click on this, we're going to see that this web dependency is actually using the web MVC from the core Spring framework under the hood right here. So this one, that actually gives us access to actually work with MVC right here. You see that we're actually using the web dependency from the Spring core framework right here. So now, and in this crash course right here, we're going to actually follow the pattern of MVC. So now we have created all the attributes that we need our project to have. So now that I've generated our Pojo, our plain Java object right here. So now remember last time we had a dependency right here in our POM file called Lombok right here. So the job of this Lombok actually, for example, we can just come here to say, okay, we want to generate getter setter, because this ones right here actually need getter setter for us to actually get their information outside, right? So we can just say, okay, we want to right click right here, and then we want to generate, for example, then we want to generate right here. And if we click on generate, this one right here, we're going to see that here we have getter setter. So here we have getter, we have setter, and we have getter and setter. So if we say we want to generate getter setter right here, so we're just going to choose everything we want to generate getter setter for, and we're just going to click on OK. So right here, we're going to see everything that has been generated for us right here. But now we don't want to do this, so I just want to Control Z. So that is the purpose of Lombok. So now we just want to say, okay, instead of doing that, we want to just have, we could do at getter right here, and we could do at setter right here, right? So this one we could do if this class were to be an entity, if we are working with JPA and this class is going to be an entity in the database, so we could do this. But right now, this class is, we are not going to create a database, so this class is not going to, we are not going to persist this to database. We are not going to create any table to the database on this right here. So we're just going to remove this one right here. So we are going to use single annotation that actually encapsulate all those. So we're just going to come here to say add data right here. So this annotation right here actually encapsulates both the getter and the setter and the empty arg constructor and all arg constructor. Now what I mean by empty arg constructor is that, okay, now assuming we are not doing this right here, and we're just going to come here, because this product right now has a default constructor, because every Java class actually has by default inherit from the object class, which is the parent class, which is the object. And so as such, every Java class actually has by default has a non-arg constructor. So here, let me just show you what I mean by non-arg constructor. So I'm going to generate. So here, I'm going to generate a constructor right here. And now here, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to generate this one right here. So this one I've generated, let me close this one right here. So this one here is called arg constructor. all arg constructor, because we have all the arguments, all the attributes we have right here, we pass them in as arguments, right? And then we can also come here, since we are having this one right here, so we can just come here to have no arg constructor. So we're just going to generate, again, we generate a constructor, and this time around, we're just going to select none, and then we have non-arg constructor, right? So this one is called non-arg constructor, and this one is called all arg constructor right here. So, but we don't want all these, so we just want to remove all these ones right here for now. Then what we could do here, we're just going to come here. We can actually use Lombok to say all arg constructor. So this annotation right here actually replace the constructor we just generated right here with so many things right here. So now that we are having this all arg constructor, so if we go here to say right click, and then we're going to generate, so let's generate a constructor right here. So if we do this right now, let's just do this. So now we have, we've generated arg constructor right here. And I'm going to say that this annotation we have here is giving us an error. Why? Because this annotation right here is actually representing this one right here, right? So now that we have having it, we've gotten it right here, we don't need to generate this one anymore. So that is why we're just going to remove it. And you can see that this Lombok actually makes our code, our classes look so clean. So now we're just going to have this one all arg constructor, and also we can also have at no arg constructor right here. So we can just have at no arg constructor, which means this one we're actually having both those two constructors which we generated right here. That is what we are having right here using annotation, right? And now for us to get getter and setter, we're just going to have this one here. This at data we have initially, we're just going to have it right here, right? So this one actually gives us everything we need. So we don't need to write anything here any further. So now the next thing we're going to do right here is I'm just going to open here, and I'm going to close this one, and also I'm going to close this one right here. So remember last time I said something about MVC, right? So now that we are doing this, so this one is our product right here, which is our domain. And meanwhile, this one here, I can just change this one right here to maybe, I can just change this name right here. Maybe just refactor this name, rename this one right here. So I can just change this package to maybe domain, model, or entity, anyone, but I'm just going to change it to model right here, because now this one is actually serving as the model package right here. So we are going to have all the models we're going to have in this course, for example. Now this one is the model class. Now we're going to have a service. No, we have MVC, right? So MVC, model, VC, view, and we have the controller. So model view controller, right? So right here we have, following this pattern of model view controller, so here we're going to have another package right here. Then this package, we're going to call this one right here. We're going to call this one service. So we're going to say service right here. Now this service package right here, we're going to have a class. We're going to right click here. I'm going to create a class. We're going to call this class product. So we're going to call this class product service right here, and we're going to hit on enter. So now what is the job of this product service right here? So this one right here is that is where this is the class in which we're going to declare all the logic that we are going to use to control this model right here. All the logic are going to be in here, right? So that is we're going to see how this one works later. Now we have a service class right here. Now we have model, we have service. Now we're going to create another folder, another package right here. And this package, we're going to call it controller. So we're going to call this one controller right here. So this one is the controller. Now the next one, we're just going to right click on this one right here, and we're going to create a new class. And this class, we're going to call it the product. So we're going to say product controller. So call this one product controller right here, and we're just going to hit on enter. So right here we have our model view, our model class, we have our service, and we have our controller. And so the last one we're going to have right here, we're going to call it repository. That's repository. So we're going to right click on this one right here and create a new package right here. So we're going to call this one repository. Yeah, repository right here. And then we're going to hit on enter. And actually, I'm going to make this one a lowercase instead of instead of upper arrow, we're going to make it lowercase right here. So we're just going to say repository. So this, and inside here, we're going to create a class, and this one actually is going to be an interface. So we're going to call it some product repository right here. So we're going to say this one is a product repository, and we're going to make this one an interface, and then we're going to enter right here. All right, so now we have created all the packages we need inside this project. So here we have the controller, so we have the model, we have the repository, and we have the services, the service package right here. So I'm just going to right click on this and close all tabs. See you in the next video. So now coming back right here, we have created all our packages, and also we have created all our classes right here inside these packages right here. Now, what is the meaning of these packages? So now, as we've explained, this one right here is our product, right? So this class actually defines the structure of our product. That is, it defines the attributes, the properties that our product is going to have. So this is the domain class, right? And now this one right here is the service class. So like I said, all the logic that our project will be using, all the logic to manipulate this class right here, they are going to be defined inside this service class right here. Now right here, we have the controller right here. So this controller class is the one that is going to be interacting with the client, right? So the client is going to send a request right here, and this controller is going to send that request to the service. And now the service is going to send the request to this repository right here. This repository right here. Now this repository is where all our logic is going to be. That is not actually our logic. So this is our this is the class, actually this is the interface that actually interacts with the database right here. So this let me close this a little bit. So now this controller right here is going to take requests from the client, and it's going to pass it to the controller, right, to the service right here, and the service is going to take the controller and pass it to this repository, and this repository is going to go inside the database and actually find our request and return it back to the service, and the service is going to return it back to the controller, and this controller returns it back to the client. So that is just the division of labor right here. That is how we structure our project right here. So now that I've done with this one right here, I'm going to close this one right here, and then we're going to come inside this controller package right here, this controller class right here. Now, how do we know that this one is a controller? What makes this one is a controller? So right here, we're just going to have a Spring annotation called REST controller right here. So this one right here, we're actually working with REST controller, but there's another controller, annotation right here that is called @controller right here. We're just going to say @controller, this one right here. So this one right here, we use this one where we are working with MVC typically, like what we've seen in the past. So we use this one where we are working typically with MVC controllers, but now we want to work with REST controllers. So we're going to say @REST controller right here. So this @REST controller is a combination of the @controller and request body, as we have seen in our past video, right? So right here. So doing this right now, we actually say, okay, this class is the controller class by putting this annotation right here. Now, what is the name? How do we get into this controller? What is the URL? What is the road to this controller to get what is in here? So for that, we just want to bring in another annotation, and this annotation we're going to call it @request. Sorry. So this one we're going to say @request mapping, request mapping right here. Now this request mapping, just as the name goes, request, when a client sends a request. So what controller are we mapping that request to, right? So now we're going to define the road to this controller right here. So we're just going to come here to say, we have to have the curly braces right here, and inside these curly braces, we're going to say slash, and we're going to say products. So here we're going to say products. So this is just all we need. I want to shift this one a little bit right here. So this is just all we need. So which means any request that start with products is going to come here inside this controller right here. And now we have done this, we are going to come right here. So we are going to create our first endpoint to actually return something to the front, to the client, to the front end. So what we're just going to do right here, we're going to say, okay, public. We're going to say public right here, and then we're just going to return a string. We're going to return a string, and this one we're just going to say hello. So we're going to say hello, and inside this say hello, we have a string name variable right here. So if we go right here, we're just going to return a simple string, and then we're going to say hello. So for example, we're just going to say hello Simpson, hello Rita, hello Maxine, hello Anita. So just right here. But now, what is the HTTP? What is the method to actually get this one right here? What is the HTTP method to get this one right here? So now we just want to say this HTTP method. We just want to say at get mapping right here. So at get mapping, we are actually getting something from the controller, right? We are getting information from the controller from our project. So this one is at get mapping. So when we have a request that slash product and slash, now let's come right here. Now inside this one right here, we're going to say, we're just going to say hello right here. So when we have a request that map to products and say hello right here, then this controller is going to be called, and we're going to have the response say hello. So now, for example, we just want to run. Let's run this project actually. So let's run this project and see what happens. So we're just going to enable these annotations right here. So now we see that our project is actually running right here, right? Our project has started. So now if we go back to our browser right here and refresh, let's refresh right here. So we're still going to see this like this. Now we're just going to slash this one right here. So we're going to say products right here. So we have products, and we're going to say slash. So what is the name of our controller, of our endpoint? We'll say hello. So if we do this right now, we're going to say, see here, we're having hello none, and that is because we have not defined any name here. Let me remove this. So that's because we have not defined any name here. We just defined the variable right here, but we've not defined any name right here. So coming back right here, we just want to initialize this name. We just want to say name. For example, just want to say name. Yeah, this name right here. And so we just want to say the name is Rita right here. And we're just going to terminate right here. So if we run our project again right here, let's run our project, and then our project has started running. So if we go back to the browser right here, we're going to see that. So here we have Rita. So if we refresh, so here we have Rita, we have hello Rita. So now we have gotten response from our controller down to the browser. All right. So now that I've seen the basic of how to return data to our browser, so what I just want to do right here, because we are working with products, so I want to change this controller right here. I want to change the name of this method right here. So I just want to say get products. I just want to say get all products. Get all product right here. And this one right here, we're not going to return anything from here. And we are going to remove this one right here. And also we're going to remove this. So for now, we're just going to return none right here. And meanwhile, getting product right here is not 1, it's not 2, it's not 3. Maybe as far as more than 1, it's going to be a list of products, right? Because it's not a single product we are getting all the products right here. So for that now, we're going to remove this string right here. We're going to say we are expecting a list of products right here. So we're actually we're expecting a list of product right here. So we're just going to say get all the products, and we're passing in the list of products right here. So this one right here, we're going to change from hello. Then we're going to say, we're just going to say products. Maybe we're going to say all. Yeah. So now we're just going to say product/all, right? I'm just going to say right here, all. And then this one is also getting. So for us to get something from our front end, we're just going to come right here. So I'm going to say list of products right here. About this one here, we're just going to say equals arrays.asList right here. So in here, we're going to have new product right here, new product, this one right here. And then what I'm just going to do right here, I'm going to break this down. I'm going to break it down. Then in here, I'm going to just going to terminate right here. Then in here, if we go to the product service, if we go right here, we have we have all these annotations right here. We have all arg constructor, and we have no arg constructor, right? So now these are all the attributes we need to have right here. So now we're going to make use of the all arg constructor right here. So if we go back here to the controller right here, so I'm just going to say, so this is going to be the ID of this one is going to be 1. Then the name right here, we're just going to say Samsung. So we're going to say Samsung. And out here, we're going to put the price. So the price is just going to say 100. Let's just say 100. And then the description, we just want to say some smartphones. Some smartphones. And then this one here, you see that here we're having error right here because we require long and we're having int. So what we just need to do right here, we can just add L right here to just tell our compiler that this one is a long value, right? So now what I just want to do here, I'm going to put comma right here, and I'm going to duplicate this one a couple of times. So I'm going to copy this one, and I'm just going to break this one right down, and I'm going to duplicate this one like 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. And then we're going to remove the last comma right here. We're going to remove it. So now we're going to say this one is 2, and this one is going to be 3. So this one is going to be 4, and this one is going to be 5 right here. And then we're just going to change the name. So this one is Samsung. So this one we're going to say, so what product do we actually need right here? So here we're going to say iPhone. So we're going to say iPhone right here. And this one we're going to say, this one is $500 right here. And also it's it's a smartphone as well. And the next one right here, we're just going to say, so product, just want to say sneaker. So we're going to have some sneakers right here. Another sneakers. This one is actually N right here. So we're going to have some sneakers right here. And we're going to say this sneakers is $150. And we're just going to say some smart shoes right here. Right here. And then the next one right here, we're just going to say laptop. So the product name is, we're just going to say, let's just say Dell. So let's say Dell. And here we're going to say $200. And we're just going to come here to say some smart laptops right here. And the last one here, we're just going to say, so this one's going to be HP. Let's just say HP. And then this HP is just going to be 100. And we're just going to say, okay, some laptop. So we're just going to say some laptops right here. Some laptops. So now this is the list of our product right now. So I'm going to clear this space. I'm just going to clear this space right here. And actually, I'm just going to move it up right here. Right here. So now that we have done this, now we're just going to come right here to inside this method. We're just going to return when a user requested for all products. We're just going to return the list of products to them right here. So right here, we're just going to return products right here. And then I'm just going to close this one right here. So let's save. Let's save. So just look at what will happen as we return this product object right here. So let's go to our browser here. And now we're going to change this one right here to product/all. So we're going to say /all, and we're going to hit on enter right here. So right here, we actually have the list of our products right from the back end. So we have ID number 1, we have the smartphone, we have iPhone. So these are all the products we actually declare at the front end, right? So right here, we just click on to format to actually get the JSON format right here. So we have the list of our product right from the back end. All right, so now that I've gotten our list of products in our browser right here, and so you see here, we can actually make this one finer actually. So we can actually make it finer because this one actually is immutable. We are not actually adding anything right here. So now that we have gotten everything right here, you see that we're defining everything right here in the browser, right? But now we are going to, let's move to the service layer. Let's copy this product right here, and let's move to the service layer. So right here in the service layer, what we just need to do right here, we're going to make this one a Spring Bean, right? So let's tell our system, let's tell the Spring that this class is a bean. So here we're just going to say as service. Remember last time when we were doing introduction, when we were doing when we are looking at Spring Boot, the first video we had on Spring Boot, when we say component right here, this add component right here. If we do this right here, this one actually also make this class a Spring bean. But we just want to use the specialized version, which is this one right here, at service. So this one is a specialized version at component, right? Of at component. So we just know, okay, this class is a service. And by so doing, we actually tell Spring that this class is a service. And now this class is a candidate for injection. So we can actually inject this class anywhere to other class in our project. So now I'm just going to come right here. So we're going to create a class, a method right here. We're going to say public get all method. Get products right here. This one is get products right here, and also we're going to just do this. We're missing something right there. I'm coming. We'll do that. So right here also we are missing this right here. So we just want to say we're actually getting the list of product as well right here. So we're going to have this product right here, right? And inside here we just want to return none for now. And now we could just come here also to paste this one right here that we've gotten from our controller. So instead of returning none, we just want to also return the product right here. Just return this product right here. And now, if you come here to see, we're going to see that class product, that is, this class is never used. It's a bean, but it's never used. So what we're just going to do right here, we're going to come back to the controller. So instead of returning product right here, we're going to bring in this service class. We're going to inject it right here as a bean inside this controller. So here we're just going to say private. So we're going to say private final. We're going to say service right here. So this one is the service class we just created right here. So right here we see that we make it final, and here is asking us to add constructor parameter, which means we're going to inject this dependency through the constructor. But we can just do something like this. We can just say, okay, we want to put this one inside the constructor right here, like this. But we don't want to do this, but rather we want to bring in the Lombok annotation called at required arg constructor, this one right here. So you can see that this one is actually giving us an error because we've already gotten this constructor right here. So if we remove this one from here, you're going to see the error is gone. And we just want to use the Lombok annotation to make our class look clean. So you can see that our class right now is very clean, right? There's no much code. So now what we just need to do right here, so instead of returning this, so we're just going to return this product service right here. So we're going to say product service dot get all products. So we're going to actually get all the products from the service class right here. So we're actually getting all these classes from there. And now if we run this application, so let's just run this application and see it again. So let's wait a moment while it runs. So now the project has started running as usual. So let's go back to our browser. So let's refresh. So when we refresh, we see that we are still getting the product from the back end right here, right? And you can see right now we have moved. Let's remove this for now. So now we have moved the implementation of this. This is the logic right here to get our product. We have moved it from here to the service class right here. So now we see that our controller is clean, and our controller doesn't really know it doesn't really know where the product is coming from. Now a client is asking of product right here, is issuing a request mapping to this endpoint /product/all. Is asking the controller to give the product, but the controller right now is actually returning the product but the controller does not know where this product is coming from right here, which is this controller right here, does not really know where the product is coming from. Now the controller is actually asking the service right now to get this product right here, right? And now the service is responsible in providing the product back to the controller, and the controller gives to the client that is requesting for this product. All right, so now you see that we have cleaned up our controller right here, and we have moved this product right here into the service class. But also we can see move further right here. So what about if we remove this product from right here, just cut everything from here, And now let's move to the repository. So here is the repository, the interface. And here I'm just going to put this right here, and I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove this too right here, right? And so what about if this, because this one right here this is the repository that is interfacing with our database. So this is the class, or this is the layer that is actually, this is the data layer that is actually responsible for fetching data for the client when the client requested, right? And now let's move this one right here, and let's go back to our service. So in our service, instead of returning this here, so we're just going to say product repository. So we're going to take this product repository right here. We're just going to say dot product right here. So now we can just get this product directly from the repository. So now that we have done this, let's run it again. If we're still going to get our data at the front end. Okay, so now our project has started running. So let's move to the front end and see what happens. So let's refresh. So you see that we are still having our data right from the back end. So now you see that we're actually working with this MVC pattern of a thing, right? So right here we see our controller knows nothing about the data, and our service also knows nothing about the data, but our repository is the one that is in charge of giving the data, right? So all what the controller does is that the controller just get the request from the client and send it to the service. And the service now send this request, ask the repository to actually give it what the controller requested for, and then it now return this the response back to the controller, and the controller in turn return the response back to the client, which is the browser right there. So now we have gone through our controller, service, and repository. So the next thing we're going to do right here, so instead of hard coding this, because right now this one is not a bin yet, this controller is not a bin yet, but this one right here is a bin. Yeah, it's a bin by using what is it? This service right here. So this service right here is a bin. By using this annotation, makes it a bin. That is the reason why we are able to do injection, to do constructor injection right here using this controller right here, right? So now we are going to make this one right here, we're going to make it a bin. Now, why are we making this one a bin? Because I want us to, instead of hard coding this data right here, we want us to actually connect to our database. We want this guy right here to actually connect to the database to bring this data from the database and keep this place clean. So in our next video, we're going to start connecting to the database. All right, so now we've seen that we have actually we have successfully actually pushed our data access to this to our repository. So the repository actually is the layer that is that interfaces with the database. So the service will just only hold if there's any logic we need to do right here, any check, anything we need to do right here. We specify all the logic right here, and the controller is just clean. We just want to keep this controller as simple, as clean as this, right? So the controller should know nothing about logic. The controller is just to issue the request, and the service should get the logic and right here and send to the repository to actually get the data. So till now, we're actually doing all these ones right here. We are just hard coding all this data right here. But now we actually want to take this one to the database. We want to, instead of hard coding, we want to submit to the database directly. So for that, the first thing we're going to do right here, we are going to go back to our browser. Let's go right here. So in here, we're going to add some, this is the project we created last time, right? So right here, we're going to add another dependency. So now I'm just going to say JPA, which is, you see Spring Data JPA right here. So just take this one right here. And after that, now this one right here is actually coming with Hibernate. And, it's actually coming with the Java persistent API using the Hibernate as the implementer, the default implementer right here. So Hibernate actually is the default implementer of this JPA. So now let's go right here. We're going to have MySQL right here. MySQL. So this is the database we'll be using. So let's pick this one right here. So these are the two repositories. So these are the two more dependencies that we need right here. So let's explore. So, and if we scroll down right here, we're going to see that we have the JPA right here. The Spring, you see that it has started the Spring Boot data JPA, Spring Boot starter data JPA. And now we have the MySQL connector right here. So we're just going to, we're just going to copy this one right here. But meanwhile, we have gotten this already. So we just want to, let's copy, we'll remove it when we get there. So let's copy up to this one right here. So let's copy. And now let's go back to our system. And we're just going to go back to our POM file right here and add it to our POM file. So let me just close this. So we're going to go down right here, just below this web. So I'm just going to put this one right here. But meanwhile, we have gotten this web already, so we're going to remove this. So we actually have the error already because we're having duplicate dependency right here. So we're just going to remove this one right here. And then we're going to, so here we have the web starter, we have the data JPA starter, and we have the MySQL connector. So these are just the three things we need. So now let's refresh, let's reload our dependency. So if you put your if you add dependency right here, you need to reload, because if you don't reload, that the new dependency you added will not be reflected in the project. So you need to reload for it to be reflected, right? So you can just come here and actually you can just open up right here and do whatever you want to do. But we're not going into this one for now. For this video, we're going to talk about this later, right? But for now, we just know that anytime you add dependency, you need to refresh. So now that you have refreshed, now what we just need to do, I'm going to close this one, close it back. And then we're going to go to our property file right here. So we're going to open this file right here. And take note that let me just close this. Now we have not gotten anything right here apart from the server right here, although it's the server port we're listening to. So now we are going to bring the connections for us to be able to access our database. We're going to put them right here. So now what we did right here is that we're actually setting our local host. Now this is the default port for MySQL, right here, and it's running on our local host right here. So that is just set right here. So that is the DBC connection we're actually doing right here, and we're setting our data source right here to MySQL, and the local host is 3306. This is the default port. And now we are setting our the database. We are setting the username. This is the username. You can just put anything on your own. And this is just for the demo actually. So this one right here is the password. So in my own, I set the username as root and the password as an admin to my local host, so to the MySQL database that is running on my local host. Then right here, I come here to set the data source driver right here. The class name is mysql.cj.jdbc.driver. So this is the MySQL driver we are using. And the dialect right here, we are actually setting the dialect right here, the Hibernate dialect. We are actually setting it to MySQL. Now, what is the dialect? Because now we are using Hibernate as our JPA implementer. And this Hibernate is going to generate SQL, because using this one right now, we are not going to write any SQL in our database. We are not going to go to MySQL to write any query. So the Hibernate is the one that is going to generate the query for us. Now we are telling Hibernate that the query is going to be, it should generate that query based on SQL dialect. We are using MySQL dialect. So the query it should write the query putting MySQL in mind, that MySQL is what we're going to run. So that is the dialect we are setting to Hibernate right here. That's where I will say Hibernate dialect equals to this one right here, right? I hope it's clear. And right here, we just started the format that will format the query. This one is just optional, just for us to see what is happening in the console. And this one right here also, just to show the query. Then right here, we have some group of variables right here. I mean, is it variable or values right here? And now, if you go down right here, we say Hibernate, we say spring.jpa.hibernate.ddl-auto, we say update. Now, this one right here, if we set this one to update, so we're going to come back here to explain this one later. Now you're not going to understand, so let's just leave this one for now. But now the first thing, the thing what you just need to do right now, I want you to change this one right here to create. So change it to create, and create is one of the, you see that create is among the list that is here, but we're going to come back right here to explain this. We're going to come back in a moment to explain this. But for now, make sure this settings right here is ready in your properties file. Now, the next thing we're going to do right here, we're going to specify the name of the database, because this is the MySQL database. Now, inside the database, what schema are we using? So we're going to specify the name of the schema right here. So now we're just going to say SB. So we're going to say Spring Boot demo, Spring Boot demo DB. Then we just say, I'm going to say underscore, I'm going to say DB. So this one also, I'm going to say underscore instead of hyphen. I'm just going to say Spring Boot demo database right here. And then, having done this now, we're going to copy this name right here. Then we're going to go into our MySQL to actually make sure this schema is present in MySQL. So now we are going to copy this name right here. So just to make sure that this schema actually exists, because if this schema does not exist in the database in MySQL, we're going to have an error, right? So now we're just going to copy this one right here, and then we're going to go to MySQL and actually create this one right here. So now we're just going to say create new schema, and we're going to paste this one in here, and then we're going to go down here and click on apply. And here we click on apply, and then we'll click on finish right here. And then we're just going to refresh. So right here, let's refresh. And here we see that we have this one right here. So let's make it default right here. So we have this schema right here, but it's empty. So let's go back to our project and run our system. So let's run this. Let's run it. And now let's wait a moment while it runs. So right here we see that we actually have our project started already. But if we now let's go back to my SQL Workbench and refresh right here. So if we refresh right now, we see that there is no table right here, right? We have no table, even though the project has started, but we don't have any table right here. Now, why is it that what actually happened was that? So in here, let's remove this one right here. So this is the table. This is the table we are trying to create in the database, right? We want JPA to create this. We want Hibernate to create this product, to have a table in that schema called product. But now we have not told Hibernate that this is the table we want to create. So for us to do that right now, we need to mark this one right here as the entity right here. So we need to mark this one as an entity. This annotation right here, we need to use it. And now look that. The moment we mark this one as an entity, we have a warning and both warning and error right here. So now this one is an entity in the database already, and now we are seeing a warning right here that this annotation is not safe for an entity in a database, right? Now the explanation of this reason is beyond the scope right now, but for now, just remove this one right here and specifically add the getter and the setter right here, and add the setter right here. So this is the safest way. The add data actually comes with a lot of things that we cannot explain right now. So it's not safe, it's not ideal to use add data on a class that is an entity in our database. So now let's come back to this error right here. So this error right here actually is asking us, now since this one is going to be a table in a database, now a table needs to have an ID, right? The identifier needs to have the primary key on the table, right? So that is what this one is asking us to do right now. So let's specify the primary key. So which of these attributes we want to be used as the primary key? So we want to use the ID as the primary key. So we get this at ID from Jakarta persistent right here. And now you see that the error is gone. So now we have told Hibernate that this table you want to generate, let this one right here be the primary key, right? And also we can also select strategy at which this primary key is going to be generated right here, because it's going to be auto-generated right here. So we are not going to enter this ID manually, but it's going to be auto-generated. So now there's something called strategy right here we need to set. So we need to set the strategy at which the generation is going to take place. So we're going to say identity. We're going to say strategy.identity right here. This one right here. So we're going to say at generated type.identity right here. So this is strategy we just need to set to get our table created, and at runtime, that table, the primary key is going to be auto-generated. We don't need to enter it manually right here. So now that we have done this right now, let's run. And remember right here, in here, we are putting this one to create, right? So now let's run our project again. So now we see a query right here. Let me zoom out or zoom in. So now we've seen a query right here for us that a table is created for us. So if we have not, if we are not using Hibernate JPA, we need to go to MySQL to actually create this table manually. But since we are using Hibernate to create for us, and we have done all the settings for Hibernate to create the table for us, so Hibernate is actually creating this table for us, and it's putting all the attributes we put there, all the properties now become columns in the database table. So now let's go back to MySQL to actually refresh. Let's refresh this. So if we refresh now, you see that we have gotten a table created right here. And if we open this table right here, so we're going to see that we have the price of the product, we have the ID, we have the description, and we have the name. All right, so now we have successfully created our table. So let's go back to the IntelliJ. So now I'm just going to remove this from here. So the next thing we're going to do here, so we see that this one is on create, right? And we are going to explain this one in a moment. We're going to come back to this. So for now, I'm going to come back here. So I'm going to remove all this data from here for now. And okay, sorry. So let's put this let's put this one right here. And then I'm just going to clean off all these. So let's go back to the controller. Let's go back to the service. Here, let's remove this one for now, and we're just going to return none for now, right? Let's return none for now. So now we are going to, now that we have connected to database, so we are going to make this one right here. So this repository is the one to interference with the database to get what we want for us. So now how can this one connect to database? Now remember we have added a dependency called Spring Data JPA, right? So now we are going to make this interface to extend that interface, the Spring Data JPA interface. So by extending that interface, this interface here automatically becomes a Spring Bean. Now, for example, if we come here without the extension, let's just come here. So let's say we want to bring in our repository right here as a dependency. So now if I do this, now that we are bringing this one here as a dependency right here, so it needs, because we make it finer right here. So because we're making it finer, so it actually requires a constructor dependency, a constructor injection right here. So now let's just make it finer again, making it finer here. And now we are going to bring, so instead of us creating a constructor right here, because if we look here, it's going to instruct us to add a constructor right here. So which means we are actually actually trying to inject this one right here through the constructor. But if we go right here, you're going to see an error here that is saying could not auto-wired, no bin or product repository type found. So now this one here, this interface is not yet a Spring Bean. That is why it cannot be auto-wired. We cannot inject it as a Spring container, as a Spring Bean, right? So this bean has not been created in the Spring container. So for us to make this one a Spring Bean, we're just going to come right here. It's of two ways. We can just come here to say, okay, add repository. So we can put this one right here. So if we put this one right here, it's going to go off, right? Now this one actually tells, this annotation right here actually makes this interface a Spring Bean. But we are not still getting what we want, because we actually want to get some data access to our database free of charge. We don't want to write anything. We don't want to start connecting. We don't want to start writing our own manual section and all those things. We don't want to control anything from here. We just want to get everything done for us by Data JPA. So doing that now, we just want to say, okay, we're going to extend the interface, this JPA interface right here. So we're going to extend this one right here. Now let's do the import. So extending this one right here, you see that this one is a product repository, right here. And now we are extending the JPA. Now, what is the domain? What domain are we creating this repository for? So that is the domain we specify right here, which is our domain right here. That is what we're actually creating this data access layer for right now. And what is the ID? What is the ID? What is the primary key of our domain? What is the data type of the primary key of our domain? The ID of our domain. Now, if you look here, the ID here is of type long, right? So we're going to go here to change this one from integer to long right here. And take note that you cannot use primitive right here. You cannot use something. You cannot use primitive right here, right? We can only use classes right here. So it must be capital L, which is must be of a class, not of type primitive right here. So now this one now is a string bean. So if we go here, the error has gone. And now that we have extended, we are already extending this one right here. So putting this annotation become optional. So now if we leave it, it's okay. But if we also remove it, it's okay. So now that we've removed it, if we come here, you see that it's no longer complaining anymore because we're actually extending the JPA repository, which automatically make this one right here a Spring Bean, right? So now let's go back right here. So this is just all we need to do in our repository to get our database connectivity right done under the hood for us. So now let's go back right here. So if we see right here, we see that this one here feed blah blah like that, which you convert to local variable right here. But what we just want to do, we don't want to close out our class with too much of code. So we're going to bring in a Lombok annotation, that's the one we used last time. So we're just going to say at required. So we want to say at required add constructor right here. So this one right here, if you see, is giving us error again because now because the job of this one right here is to bring in, is to bring in this kind of constructor and inject this dependency for us. So now that we are having this one manually, so it's complaining. So we can either remove one. So we either remove this or remove this. But what we just want to do, we want to remove this plenty code from here, and you see the error is gone. So now let's clean this white space right here. So now we have fully set up our application to actually get things done for us in our database right here. So in the next video, we are going to see how we can actually connect. All right, so now we are fully connected to the data JPA repository right here. So now our repository is not a bin because we've connected to the JPA repository. And so we're just going to come right here. So this one here, now we're just going to use this one right here to return all data from the database, right? So let's just come here to say product repository. So we're just going to say product repository.find all. So the find all actually gets all the data from the database, right? But now let's take a look at this. So this is our repository right here. And if we go right here, we have not defined anything right here. We didn't define any method right here. So this find all right here, where is it coming from? So this find all right here, because this is a free method we are using, we are getting from the JPA repository. So now let's move here to our repository, and I'm just going to go inside this JPA repository and see what is in there. So right here, you can see annotation right here that at no repository bin. So this one, it means that the framework, this one is not actually considered as a repository, but it's a kind of just something like that anyway. But right here, we can see that we have a lot of CRUD operations here. We have save and flush. We have extend, save all. We have so many, and we still have the ones that are actually deprecated right here. So if we scroll down right here, we're going to see that we actually have this find all, two method with two overload method right here. And here we have get by reference. So we get a lot of free CRUD operations right here, a lot of functions, operations we can use for free right here, though many of them have been deprecated. Now, if we go right here, if we take a proper look right here, you see that this interface, this repository, this JPA repository right here is return, extend the list CRUD repository right here, and also extend this one right here, and also extends this one right here, which means this repository is actually extending other 3 repositories. And all these 3 repositories also has, they have their own CRUD definition inside. For example, if we go here to the list CRUD, we're going to see right here, we have save all. And we also have find all and find all by ID right here. And this one also extend the CRUD repository right here. So, and this CRUD repository in turns extend another interface right here, right? So now if we go back right here, we're going to see that we have a lot of CRUD operations right here. Find by ID, find all, exist by ID, delete by ID. So we have a lot of free operations right here. And now for the fact that, okay, let's close all these right here. Let's not go too deep. So for the fact that we are extending this repository right here, let's close this one too. Let's close it. Now, since we are extending this repository right here, so we are actually getting all the functionalities, a lot of functionalities from all that repository that this one actually extend, right? So we get the operations that are available in here, and we also get the operations that are available in each of those repositories that this one is extending right here. So which means our class, this our interface right here, our repository right here has a lot of things, a lot of free operations we can actually do right here using our repository, because we are getting a lot of things from Spring Data JPA, from this JPA repository right here. So now that we have extended, now that we are using this one right now, we're going to run our project again, and let's see what we got in our database. So let's check our application right here. Our application properties right here. So everything is still intact. So let's run our project and see what we got. So let's wait for a few minutes, a few seconds actually. Let's wait a few seconds while it runs. So now we see that our project has started. So let's go back to MySQL Workbench, and we're going to refresh. So this is our product. Let's open. So right here is still none, right? Nothing inside. But now let's go back to the browser to see if we're going to get anything from the browser this time around. So let's refresh this. And here we see that we are getting empty array from our database, because actually the database is empty. So we are getting empty array from there. So let's go back to IntelliJ, and I'm going to remove this one right here. So before we create another endpoint to enable us to add data, to add products to the database, we're just going to come here to our service class. So remember last time we were using this dummy data right here. So I'm just going to bring this data back again. I'm going to put it right here, right? So I'm just going to paste this one right here, and I'm going to release. So I'm going to release it, and just release it here. So now we are going to, let's do this import. So now we are going to save this data to our database so that we can use it to test something right here. So what we're just going to do right here, I'm going to create a function, a service actually right here, a method. So we're going to have public, no, that's not what I want. So we're going to have public, and this one here, we're going to have the list of product right here. And this one, actually, we're going to say save. So we're going to say save products, right? And this one is not going to have any parameters right here. So then we're just going to come down here to call the repository and look at the suggestion right here. Now, this suggestion is because we are actually saving, we are saving an array right here, right? So the compiler has, IntelliJ actually suggests that it has deduced that before we are getting this list right here, it means we are actually giving a list of product right here to actually return what we are saving into a list, which means we want to save a list of product right here. So now if we go to this save all right here, this one also we got from this, you see, it's coming from this crud repository right here, this list crud repository right here. So this is the method we are actually using right now. So it's coming free from here. So you can see that this method is actually iterating through the list of entities that is being passed to it to actually save for us, right? So that's just what we're using for free right now. And if we go here, if we just click on here, we see that we are also, this find all we are using is also coming from this list crud repository that we are using for free right now. And now what we're just going to do right here, we want all this data to be saved to the database when the system is run, right? So for that, we're just going to use annotation right here. This as post construct annotation right here. Now, what this annotation does is that, so this method is going to run when the project has started and when all the dependencies have been set. Now, then this method is going to run. It will be the first method to run after the project has started successfully and all the dependencies have been injected successfully. So it's going to run this method. And when this method gets run, it's going to save all this data to the database. So let's run it and see what we got. So right here we see queries, we see SQL queries right here that Hibernate has generated for us. So now let's go to our database right here and let's refresh. So right here, we got information, we got data in our database already. And now let's go back to the browser and refresh. So right here, you see that we're actually getting this data from the database again. So now we have data in our database. All right, so now we have gotten the data from our database right on the browser. So let's move back to IntelliJ. So now there's something I wanted to show you last time, but I said I promised to explain this later. So now that I've gotten data right here in our database, now it is time for me to explain what this thing is doing right here. Now this one right here, okay, let's take for example right now. So here we have data right here in our database, right? So let's go back right here to IntelliJ and let's go back to this service. So I'm going to silence this one here so that this one will not create again. So let's run our project. So let's wait a few seconds while it runs. So right now we can see that it's run already. So let's go back to IntelliJ, to my SQL Workbench and refresh. So you see that our data is gone. Everything is gone already, right? So now let's come back right here and let's remove this. Let me remove this. So now let's go back right here and remove this. Let's remove this. And now let's go back to change this one to update. So let's change it to update and let's run it. So let's wait a few seconds while it runs. All right, so here it started running and you see that we have gotten data already. So let's go back and refresh our database, our table. So right here we got data in our table, on our table already. And now for the last time, let's go back right here. I'm going to remove this. So let's go back right here. And so now let's silence this one as usual. Let's silence it and let's run it again. And so here our project has started running. Let's go back to our data, our table. So let's refresh. So you see that our data is still here. No, nothing is lost, right? So now let's go back right here and explain. Now this one right here, the message there is that this one right here, if you set this to update, it's not going to delete your data. Anytime once the database is created and the tables are created and the information is there, and you leave this one on update, so the data is always going to be there. So this one means this update is only going to update when there is any changes right here. For example, this is the structure of our table in the database. So for example, if we have anything right here, if we add anything right here, that update is going to update it right there. Any changes to this schema right here, to this POSIO, to this entity right here, so it's going to be updated right on the table. But if we put it on create, it means anytime we run this project, all our tables are going to be recreated. Even if we have 1 million tables in the database and 1 million data in the database, everything is going to lost. I'm going to create from afresh. So that is what this one does. But this update doesn't do that. Now this create and drop is going to, when the application is run, when the project is run, it's going to create all the tables for testing. And when the project gets stopped, when the server is off, it's going to drop all the tables right here. But this one right here is strictly for validation in production environment. So we're not going to go talk about this. But now you have known, I just wanted to get it in mind what this tool right here is doing, why you should be careful with this one when you are testing data. So this one will make you lost data and you will keep inserting data. But this one right here will just maintain your data for you and only updates your table. So if, for example, right now we see, if we go back right here, we see that our table right here just has 4 columns, right? So now we want to add quantity right here. So let's go and add the column that will hold quantity for us. So let's just come here and say private. And this one is going to be int quantity, this one right here. And now let's run our project and see how it goes. So let's check here. So here we see that this one is on update. So let's run our project and see what happens in a database. Okay, so this one right here, we need to, because the structure of the table has changed, so this one is complaining. So let's off it. And also let's just silence this right now and let's run it again. So now the project has started. Now you can see here that we have a query. We have a query right here. Now this query is telling us Hibernate is altered. Now the table has been altered. The product table has been altered, and a column called quantity has been added, right? And it's of type integer, just as we have defined, right? And now if we go here to our database, we're going to see when we refresh. So we're going to see that now this column has been added, right? And it's defaulted to 0, 0. So the subsequent entry, when we include this one right here, is going to carry the value right here. So you can see the difference between these two right here. So this one here always watch for any update in the entities from the entities class. So when there's any updates right here in the entities class, it's going to update the table in the database. But this one right here always create and destroy the table. So this is how these two work. So now I'm going to remove this one right here. I'm just going to close this one for now. And also I'm going to close this one. And also I'm going to close this one. So now we're just going to be left with our service and our controller. So in this video, we're going to complete the CRUD operation. So you can see here that we only have the one to only get data from the database right now. And also I want to clear this from here, and I also want to clear this from oh, sorry. I also want to clear this from here. Let's clear it from here. So now it's time for us to complete our CRUD operation. But there's something I want to introduce right here. So it's always best practice to always code to interface right here. So now this one here is a class. So this one is the service class, and we are actually injecting this service class directly in our controller. The best practice actually is to always try to code to interface. So we are going to create an interface called service interface, product service interface. Then all these functions that we are going to use here, we are going to list all the functions right there, so that we are going to be using all those functions from the interface right here. And now let's create this one before we explain more. So I'm just going to go inside this service right here. So I'm going to right click and create a new class. So this class, I'm just going to say I product. So we're going to say I product service, and this one is going to be an interface right here, and let's hit on enter. So let's close this one right here. So we see that we have gotten this interface right here, right? So what have we gotten here? We have gotten this one right here. So what I just want to do right here, so we have gotten this this get product already. So we are going to go here. I'm going to create the other three methods right in here. So we have gotten the get method product. We have gotten the get products. So now we want to add some functions right here to actually add, delete, and update. So here I'm just going to say void. So I'm just going to say void add product right here. That one is correct. And I want to say update product. This one is also correct. And I'm going to say delete product. This one is is almost correct. And we want to say list get all products. We have it already. So we're just going to get this one right here. And the last one we want to do right here is to get product by ID. So let's go here and get product by ID. This one right here. So this one we're just going to say get product by ID. Right here, 30J is, this is a really nice suggestion. And this one right here is get all products. So this one is delete product, but actually we want to delete this product by ID. So we're going to say long. Sorry, it's long actually. So long, we're going to say product ID. We're just going to come here to say this one is a product ID right here. And this one is update product actually. This one we're going to have the product, and also we're going to have the ID with which we're going to update it, right? So this one is save product, add products, and delete product. But meanwhile, I just want to return the product that was saved. So I'm just going to have here and say product right here, so that after the product is saved, we just want to return it back. So the update and this one's right here. And actually, we just also want to do this product right here. Yeah, sorry, this is product actually, product. Okay, so this is just all we need to do. So now let's go back to this service class. So what we just want to do right here, we are going to extend not actually extend, going to implement this interface. Remember that classes extend classes, classes extend other classes, while classes implement interfaces, right? And interfaces extend other interfaces, according to their level. They operate according to their level. So interfaces are higher than classes, so classes will implement interfaces, but interface extend another interface, and a class does not implement another class. Rather, a class will extend another class. So here we are implementing this interface right here. And if we go here, it's telling us to implement all the methods that are found there, right? So what I'm just going to do right here, this one we've already gotten. I'm going to try to pull this one up. I'm going to say override. I'm going to add the override annotation right here. So now let's implement all the methods that are found in here. Just going to put right here. And so if we look here, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we see that this method get products is not here anymore because we've already gotten it right here, and we've already gotten it here already, right? So it's not here anymore. So now let's implement. So here we have gotten all the methods that are present, or the methods that are present right here. We have gotten them already. Now the beauty of doing this is that so it makes our name, the naming convention, or the name of our method will become uniform. So anywhere in the application where these methods are needed, so the same names are going to be called from the service, right? So it makes it uniform. And if there is any other class that is implementing this class right here, so that is implementing this interface, so it's going to use the same name right here in those classes. So it makes the naming convention look uniform and more organized. Okay, so now that I've done this right now, so it's time for us to actually get all these methods implemented one after the other. All right, so now that we have implemented all the methods from our interface, so it's time for us to actually get them implemented right here. So this one is the one to add product. So here we're just going to come to say repository, product repository.save. So we're just going to save product right here, and we'll put in the product. This is not save all this time around. This is a single product right here, and then we're just going to pass in the products to be saved. We're going to say product right here, and after that, now we're just going to come right here to update. So the first thing we're going to do when we want to update, you want to first of all make sure that this product actually exists in the database before you update, to avoid no pointer exception, right? So for that, we're just going to come here to say we just want to find say if product.find by id dot is present right here, then we're just going to come in here to actually return this product.save right here. So this is just update. So now what we just did here is that if we so what we're doing here is that, so the first thing we just did is to make sure this one is in the database. So we first find this product by the ID. So if it is present, then we're just going to save by the ID, right? So we're just going to update this product where this ID is this one right here. So else, if it doesn't exist, then we're just going to return none. But you can, on a robust application, you can just try to throw an error right here, then you cache it from the controller. But for now, we're just going to return none, right? So now let's actually come here to delete this one right here. So this one, we're just going to call this repository to delete. But meanwhile, you can still do some check right here, just like this one right here. So we can just come here also to say if. So we can just, okay, if product repository.find by ID is present, then we're just going to delete. So we just want to make sure that this one, this product is present in the database before we get it deleted, to avoid some crashes in our system, right? If exceptions are not properly catch. And so this one, we have done this one already. So the last one we're going to do right here is the one to get product by ID. So right here, we're just going to say repository.find. We're just going to say .find by ID, find by ID, this one right here. And then we're just going to pass in the ID right here. Now, if this product is not found, we're just going to return on .rs. So we're just going to say rs return none right here. No, yeah, this one right here. So we just want to rs return none right here. But under normal circumstances, okay, right here we're having a problem. Required long, we have int. Okay, this one actually is long, and then we're going to go to our service and change this one to long, You know, we are so happy for IntelliJ completed for us, so we didn't bother to check. Okay, so right here we have all this implemented already. So now we are finished with the implementation of our service class. So let's go back to the controller and and make use of all these ones right here. So what we're just going to do right here, we're going to create a method right here. The endpoint, actually, we're going to say public. So we're going to say public product. So we're just going to get the product by ID. So right here, we're just going to say, and now that we have gotten interface, so we're going to convert this one to interface right here. So we are going to actually use the interface, and let's do the importation right from here, and let's import the interface. So now we are coding to interface. We are no longer using this class directly. We are no longer using this class directly. Rather, we are using this interface right here, right? It's a kind of polymorphism. If we have more than one class that is expanding this one, that is extended, if we have more than one class that is implementing this one right here, so we just we just use this interface to actually represent anyone we want to represent, the kind of polymorphism, right? So now in this one right here, we're actually we are trying to get the product by ID. So we just want to come, this one is long actually. This one is long. And then we're just going to come down right here and return this one right here. So we're just going to return service, product service dot get by ID. So this one is out of the way. And then let's go down for the next one. Let's say public. So this one right here is the one to actually add the product. So let's go right here to return service.add. That one is out of the way. So the next one we're going to do right here is this one to update products. And actually this one is omitting the ID right here. There's ID right here. So we're just going to come down right here to actually call the service to just update for us. And I think we are done. So we have, okay, remain the delete one. So let's go right here, say public. So now we have the delete right here, and let's go down here to just, no suggestion. So we're going to return, what is the name? Product repository. Sorry, product service dot delete. Delete right here, and we're going to pass in the ID right here. Okay, so this is just all we want to do. Okay, there is no, okay, there was no suggestion for a reason, because actually this one is void. This one is void actually, so let's just say this one is void. And then we're just going to not need to return anything right here, because it's actually void right here. Where is it? Okay, here is void. Okay, so now we have done with our implementation. So now we just let's do the mapping. Let's do the mapping. So this one is get mapping right here, get by ID. This one is get mapping all. So this one is get by ID. So let's say this one is at get mapping. Yeah, get mapping right here. So here we're just going to say, okay, here we just want to say product, like slash product, right? Or maybe you're just going to say slash ID. You're going to pass in the ID right here. I'm going to say slash product right here. So now we're going to bring in the ID we have right here, right? So now we're going to say this one here, we're going to say it's a path variable, sorry. So we're going to say this one is a path variable. We're going to bring annotation called path variable. So the path variable is used to get the ID of a product from the URL, from the path, which is from the, the ID is going to be included in the path instead of the body. Instead of getting it from the body, we actually get this from the URL, right? So now it's a path variable, and this one here is all, and then we're going to come right here. This one is post right here. So we're just going to say at post mapping right here, and then we're going to do this, and we're just going to say add products right here. And actually this one here, there's a way we can just, even if we don't do this, it will still work, because this one right here, the HTTP method is different than this. And this one also, we can just remove this one right here, it will still work, right? Because when it is get and nothing is there, just slash products is going to get all the product right here. But when it is slash product slash ID, is going to get this one right here. Then when it's slash product, if the method is post, it's going to execute this one right here. So this one is update put. So this one is going to be put. But meanwhile, I just want to make this one be clearer so that you don't get confused. I just want to make it clear for you to understand. So this one right here, we're just going to come here to actually put this one right here. We're going to put this one, and we're just going to say, add right here, right? And so this one is put. So let's just come here and say put. So we're going to say at put mapping, and we're going to go right here, and then we're just going to say update. We're going to say update, and this one is at delete mapping, and then we're going to say delete. Right? Sorry, this one is inside the string, inside the double quotes. We're going to say delete. This one is slash actually. Delete right here, and then we're actually going to pass in the ID. We're just going to pass the ID right here behind. We're just going to say this curly braces, and we slash it here, and we're going to say ID. So we're actually going to pass this ID also as a path variable. Let's remove this one right here, and let's pass this one here as a path variable. So let's say at path variable right here. So this one actually, so we are having, okay, this is delete. All right, so I think this is just all we need to do right here. So we have finished implementing all our CRUD operation. So in the next video, we're going to go to a Postman to do the general testing so that we'll see what we have gotten so far. See you. But meanwhile, we're just going to clean. Let's run our project before we finish this video. Let's just run our project. And let's see what we got so far. And right here, we see that our product has started successfully without any error. So in the next video, we're going to go to Postman to do the general testing. See you there. All right, so in this video, we're going to do our API test in Postman to see if everything works well or not. So I'm just going to run it again. Let me go let me go here to see. Okay, it's an update. I thought I've made a mistake. Okay, so let me close all this, and I just want to close all these except the controller. Let me open the controller so I can actually get the endpoint. So right here, and I'm just going to close all this. All right, so let's move to Postman. So the first one we're going to have right here is the get all products. So we're just going to say, well, our port is 9192, right? Yeah, our port is 9192. Let's go to the browser. So actually our port is 9192 product/all. So let's go. I just want to copy this one right here, and let's go to Postman. So here I'm just going to come here, and I'm going to post this one in, just post it in here, and that is get. So let's fire down. All right, that is correct. Sounds good, right? So get all our products from the database. So let's find by ID. So this one, we're just going to say maybe /2 products, right? So let's find by ID. So here we have a product ID number 2 right here, and let's change the ID to 1 right here. So here we have product with ID number 1. That's correct. So the next one right here, let's delete a product with ID number 1. So I just want to delete. That delete actually, I think, let's quickly go back. So right here we have tested this, and we have tested this. So now we want to test the delete, this one right here. So this one is ID/delete as usual. So let's go. ID. So this one, we're just going to change this one to delete right here, and then we're going to fire down. Let's delete. So this one we have okay, because we didn't return any message, but we have 200 okay. So now let's get all products to see if that one is there. So let's get all products. Let's say get and all products right here. What happened? This is supposed to be okay. Products not found, really. Products. Okay, right here it's a product not found. Okay, I think we have all, right? Okay, let's say all, and we have all products. We see that the product with ID number 1 has been deleted, so which means our delete is working. And now the next one we're going to do right here, let's try the update. So I'm just going to copy this one right here for update. So we're going to update product number 2. So I'm just going to say put, and let's go to the body, and let's go to raw, and let's pull down right here. So I'm just going to put this in. So I'm going to update ID product with ID number 2 right here. So now we're going to say, we're going to change this one right here from I love iPhones. Let's just say I love iPhones right here. And the one, okay, I got one, maybe 1,500 bucks, right? Okay, let's send to update to see what happens. So right here we have method not found. Okay, actually it's not found because we need this update. Let's go and check the endpoints. So right here we have updates, right? Slash updates actually. So let's go right here to say slash product slash updates slash update. So let's see if it works or not. Okay, we still have eternal server error here. So what happened? So let's go and check IntelliJ to see what the problem is. So right here we have the given ID must not be known. Okay. Yeah, the given ID must not be known. Where is the ID? Let's go right here. Let's go to our controller. So the ID actually is inside the body. Oh, we miss at request body right here. We need to request the body. We need to request the body right here at request body. This one right here. And we just want to use this opportunity to go to the post. I think we forgot to do it right here at the post as well. The post, where is the post? Okay, right here. Yes, we forgot it, so we're just going to put it, opportunity to put it. So right here, you see, if you don't put this request body, it's not going to get what we are doing. So now let's run it again. So we're going to, the one we just want to test right here is the update and add, right? So right here, okay, I started. Let's go back to Postman. So now we're just going to hit this one again. Let's hit it again. And so right here we still have error. Right here we still have error. Okay, I think we need to do something right here. All right, so here we've get it done. It's working. What we just missed was that right here I forgot to put, we forgot to, this one's supposed to be at request param right here. So we forgot to put this annotation at request param. So the ID was not found. Even though when we put a request body, the request body just want to get the body right here, but the ID is outside. So we need to request it as a param. So I just add this one right here. And then we just go here and just come to this param right here and put it here, ID, and put the ID that we're updating. Then come to the body, I just have to remove the body right here, and I send it and it goes. So now we see if we get, let's get all again. So let's get all right here, all products. So let's just change this one to get all, and let's send. So right here we get all product right here, and now we have the one we updated. We have it as 1.6 already, right? But something happened. That one actually saved again. You see right here. So this was the one we are saving. Yeah, this is the one we are saving, but this one actually saved as new. We got an error there. We're going to go back and fix it. But meanwhile, let's try the add first. So after the add, we'll go there to fix that error of the update. I remember the error. So now let's say this one is post, and let's say products, and let's say add right here. So inside here, we're just going to say the name of the products, and so we're just going to say this time around we're going to say let's just say iMac. Oh, sorry. Let's say iMac right here, and we're just going to say this one is 2,000 bucks right here, and then we're just going to say nice computer. So I just want to say nice computer, actually this computer. And the quantity, just want to say the quantity is 5. So let's save. I hope this one will go. So actually this one actually goes. So now it goes. So let's find all. So find all right here and let's save. Sorry, let's send. So here, oh, sorry, this is get right here. Let's find all. And now we find all, we get everything, and this is the one we just entered. So everything is actually working. So let's go back to IntelliJ and fix the problem with the update to make sure our CRUD is working completely. So let's go back to IntelliJ right here. So right now we have this. No, we just want to go to, let's go to the service. Let's go to the service class right here. So right here we need to, where is it? So update. Okay, this is the update right here. So right here we just need to extract what we have from our data, from our, we need to do something right here, actually. All right, so everything is working perfectly. Let's go back right here to IntelliJ. So what we forgot to do was that we didn't request the body. We didn't exchange the product. That is the one that is coming from that's the one we found in the database. We did not replace it. So it was because we're just saving directly. So it was actually saving as a new entry. So this is the new implementation for the update functionality right here. So we just get the product from the database, and then we just extract it. We just exchange their attributes, and we save and get update using the ID right here. Then coming back here to Postman, we just come here. Just want to come here to put the ID right here. What is it? So we just want to come here and go here and say update to this update. So now let's look at our product right here. So we have product number 2, iMac, number 3, sneakers. So let's update product number 3 from sneakers to something else. So we just want to say, I'm going to put this down. So let's say this one is ID number 3. And here, the ID is number 3 right here, ID number 3. And now the body right here, we're just going to say, instead of sneakers, we're going to say, we're going to say shoes. So we're just going to say shoes right here. And we're going to say $200. So we're going to say nice shoes. And then let's save. So let's update. Actually, right here is update. So let's update. Look at the method right here. So we're going to update. So here we're having 404 error. What happened? Sorry. Right here we have this update. Actually, this is update. This is A right here, update. So let's save, let's update. So here we see it has updated successfully. ID number 3 is now shoes, and 209 shoes. So for the last time, let's query all our products from the database. Let's say all right here. This one is get, and let's query all. All right, so right here we have product number 2, and product number 3 has changed from sneakers to shoes. Product number 4, product number 5, and product number 7. So everything is working as it's supposed to work. And so this brings us to the end of our Spring Boot crash course. And I hope you've gotten some knowledge from here that you can actually apply to some future problems. And I really hope to see you in the next video or in the next section. So sit tight and see you in the next section.